Good afternoon, everyone. Sir, shall we begin? Jagadish sir, hope I'm audible.
Yes, madam. Shall we begin
Shall
the
we start,
session?
sir? Yes, sir.
Yes.
Once again, a very good afternoon to one and all present here. I am Aisha Khanam, Head of Business Administration Department, St.Teresa's Degree College for Women. It's my pleasure to wholeheartedly welcome you all for 5 days national level webinar on revised NAAC criteria, hosted by St. Teresa's Degree College for Women, Chamarajpet, Bangalore, under the initiative of IQAC. We, the organizing team, on behalf of our college, would like to once again give a very warm and pleasant welcome to everyone. I feel honored to take you through another inspiring day, the day 4, NAAC Criterion 5, topic concerning student support and progression. This webinar is organized under the guidance of Honorable Principal Dr. Sister Prema, Vice Principal and IQAC Coordinator Mrs. Malika Ma'am, Academic Coordinator Mr. Rajesh Sir, and HOD of Commerce Mr. Raju Ramesh Sir. We welcome you all for this webinar. We are pleased and honored to have with us the experienced and esteemed resource person, Professor Jagadish J, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Government First Grade College, Hirisave, Hassan. It's my pleasure to wholeheartedly welcome you, sir, for this session. Amiable welcome to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Sir, I request you to take over the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Very good afternoon to one and all. On this pleasant Monday, I would like to share the informations regarding the Criterion 5, that is student support and progression. Before knowing about the metrics under Criterion 5, I would like to bring to your notice that each criterions have its own value and theme, which have been created by the NAAC. So in this Criterion 5, the NAAC wants us to concentrate on the support system what we provide to the students and their career development and advancing to the higher education as well. So in this theme, what type of support system we should have and how a student can grow. So these type of informations will be provided in Criterion 5, where we can see that a student progression or the support is only because of two main pillars. That is, one is institutional support, another one is teachers support. If these two support systems are strong enough, then the student can grow well academically and even on a career development also. For this purpose, the first key indicator speaks about the support system of students in the institution. So basically it is categorized to various aspects. The first one is financial support, second one is skill support, and third one is career related support. Last one, if they have any grievances, that for that also we need to support. So this is the about the informations about the first key indicator. So regarding this, let us know what are the uh, key indicators are there in the Criterion 5. So it is the second major and important criteria among all Criterion 7s. So where it will be allotted with the 140 weightage, where even the institution can get good CGPA here in Criterion 5. Few of the colleges have scored with respect to completely about Criterion 5. Many of the colleges can score more than A grade. Here, that means CGPA, when related to Criterion 5 itself, many colleges can concentrate on getting the CGPA of 3 out of 4. More than 3 can be easily obtained here on the basis of the documents what we provide and the area what we choose to support the students. For that purpose, they have given 9 metrics. Out of them, only 1 is qualitative and 8 quantitative metrics are. When it comes to the case of key indicators, there are 4 key indicators. First one is what is the support system. So, which will be allotted with the 50 weightage for 4 questions. That is, all 4 questions are QNMs. The second one is the results of this support system. That is, the students' progression. So, for that purpose, they have given 2 questions which carries of 30 weightages in total. And the third key indicator is student participation and activities. Here they have provided 50 weightage for this, where the institution should concentrate here. How should be the programs to be organized, or how should be the events should be planned throughout the year? That must be focused in the key indicator 3. And the last key indicator speaks about 10 weightage, that is 1 QLM is there. That's all about alumni engagement. So this criterion concentrate completely on student support system. Now, when it comes to the discussion on criterion 5, key indicator 1, that is student support. So for this purpose, the support will be brought to the notice of the students in 4 different manner. The first one is financial support. Here financial means the scholarships. So 2 types of scholarships can be provided to the students. If it is possible, government scholarships, and if the students want to get private scholarship, the institution has to take the proper measures regarding that. So many of the private organizations are providing the scholarships, where Infosys, Wipro, and many other reputed companies are providing. Even some gold jewelry making companies, also Malabar, like this, are also providing the scholarships. So this information has to be brought to the purview of the students. Then easily we can score more here also. So let us know the first support system, financial support. What are the questions available for this? Here the first metric in criterion 5.1.1, that is percentage of students benefited by scholarships and free ships provided by both the government and non-government agencies during the last 5 years. Here, if you want to concentrate on gaining 20 out of 20 weightage, so then the beneficiaries quantity must be increased rather than the scholarship amount. In the manner I am saying that if you provide 10,000 to one student, the count will be only 1. If the 10,000 is provided among 5 students, then the count will be 5 students. So in this manner, if you are providing any non-government agencies scholarships, institutional scholarships, all these should be provided according to the number of students available in the institution. Instead of choosing one person in the class or providing many scholarships to one student, so we need to concentrate and make diversion among all the students to get the benefit. Then only the percentage will going to be increased. Take for example, government scholarships will be there who have not got the government scholarships. For them, if you are able to provide the non-government scholarships or institutional free ships, then the number of students benefited will be increased, where you will percentage also will going to increase, and the most number of the students will be benefited. This is what the expectation of NAAC. Instead of providing each and every facility to one student, that has to be diversified. For this purpose, they are asking in 2 formats. The first one is about the total information, that is academic year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then total number of students benefited. Here you can consider all the 3 years program or 4 years programs if you are running. So all the students can be considered, not only the first year, from first year to final year, all the students who are getting the proper resourced scholarships, then this can be counted here and mentioned over here. In the Excel sheet, we need to provide, these are the informations, both the informations. That is academic year in the first column. In the second column, we should mention the name of the scheme, like Sanchi Honnama scholarship, if you are providing SC/ST, OBC scholarship, anything. So these type of schemes has to be mentioned. If from private institution, if you are getting the scholarships, that has to be mentioned. Malabar scholarships, like that, Santur scholarships. So Wipro companies scholarships. So name of the scheme has to be mentioned over here. If it is governmented, in the next two columns, we will going to write the number of the students and the amount, total amount from that scheme. If it is non-government, then we will skip the third and fourth column. We will enter in the fifth and sixth column. If it is non-government or institutional schemes, then the number of the students will be mentioned in the fifth column. Total amount granted to them will be entered in the sixth column. Then the last column, we should provide the links which will be uploaded in our institutional website. Here, the usual DVV asked regarding this question is, please upload sanctioned letters of scholarships and free ships in English. The first point they are observing is, if it is in a regional language, then the summary has to be presented in English. So that has to be taken care in the letterhead we need to provide. If the government scholarships are there, then we can get the authorized documents. If it is from the private institution, we should have at least a policy document, how the students will be recognized to provide the scholarship. The second one is, if you are issuing the checks are in a cash mode, that the payment details has to be recorded properly. So these two are very much required. One is a sanction copy, another one is distribution copy. This is most required for the first metric. So then only we can easily find that it can be provided with the proper documents. When it comes to the case of questions regarding this criterion 5.1.1, few institutions will be having a facility like the fees. So if they are collecting 12,000 or 15,000 as a per annum fees, if they reduce it to 10,000, can it be considered under here? So this will be the usual question. Or if you are charging a fees of 20,000, 40,000 and giving relaxation of 3,000, 5,000 for the ranking students, or the students who have got the good results, or the family condition. The thing is here, if you provide it in the financial form, that is the first condition. Second one is, there must be a policy document on what basis you are providing, collecting the applications for that. The awareness has to be created among the students. Then only a committee will be formed. Those students will be selected by that committee and awarded with the scholarships. Only these type of formal procedures, if we are following, then we can get this good score. Just the institutional head or the management providing relaxation or reducing the fees cannot be considered here. So these are all the basic informations about the 5.1.1. Now let us move on to the second most important metric, that is 5.1.2. It speaks about capacity building and skill enhancement initiatives taken by the institution include the following, which is allotted with the 10 weightage, and it has an option of MCQ.
Okay.
In the form of MCQ. The first one is all of the above, and till to the option E, none of the above. So these type of options will be provided, where 4 core areas have been concentrated here to provide the skills. One is soft skill, Second one is language and communication skills. And the third and important one is about life skills, which is a comprise of yoga, physical fitness, and health and hygiene. And the four most and easiest way of providing the skills, that is the fourth option, ICT or computing skills. So here the data required is name of the activity, date of implementation, number of students enrolled, and the name of the agencies if any agencies are there. So those details has to be recorded. Otherwise, so the question arises here: what type of skills can be provided to the students? Here, skill required in a two ways. One is the freshers needs capacity building skills. The second one is if they have already having some skills that has to be enhanced. The first major problem speaks about the students to stand on the dais or to speak in front of the crowd. It is the major hurdle and a common phenomenon among all the institutions. So the institution can take a few steps ahead to remove all the hurdles and required few skills has to be communicated to the students, where how they have to stand in front of the people, how should be the body language, what type of communication they are supposed to use. So all these things, how to be dressed up for an interview, everything matters. How to write the answers also in the question paper, while they see the question paper, how to write in the examination, how to utilize the time management, stress management, all these things comes under soft skills. Now the question arises here is, in a common way, where how much time it required to be train a student. So here the question is, are you providing? Not about how much time. It is all about, if you provide within half an hour, then also it can be considered as a program. The thing is, the student has to be benefited with some sort of some set of skills where students are required from the teachers. So if you are doing 1 hour also, that can be considered as a program. Throughout the semester, if you do monthly one class also, that can be considered as a program. Throughout the semester, it can be 4 programs. Like this on communications also, it is not like a criterion one where we introduce certificate courses. 30 hours minimum syllabus must be there. Not like this. This can be taught in even for 10 minutes topic. If you take how to use the MS Word, how to create a channel in YouTube, how to make the videos, how to use email, how to use Google Classroom. All these beautiful topics can be considered in the capacity building and skill enhancement. How to attend the interview, how to answer to the questions of the interviewer. So all these things comes under soft skills and ICT computing, and in the language and communication skills, where if you have an excellent physical director in your institution, physical education director can concentrate on providing the awareness on yoga, where the physical fitness is most important for all the students, and even they should give the knowledge about the health and hygiene, where many of the students will be suffering from nutrition problem. So that can be addressed by conducting a program or a classroom activity, a debate competition. Anything is fine for this. The thing is, the reports must be there, where your reports includes a circular and photographs with sample, if available, geotagged photos, and if possible, take the attendance as well. So these are the four informations which are most required. In a beautiful manner, a teacher can do each day one program on capacity building and skill enhancement initiatives. And if you are doing this type of program, you should concentrate on one information as well, that is participation. So the total 1 year participation of among all if you conduct 100 programs and many of the students participated while showing the number of students enrolled here, so that should not cross the total admission of the institution. That means if you have total students of 1000 and you have conducted 100 programs in a year or 50 programs in a year, whatever the numbers you are showing on the paper, on the document, that should not cross 1000. That is the one thing we should understand. Even in a practical sense, many of the students may participate in a repetitive manner also, but still we need to count only one student at once. Like this, if you follow, you can provide more number of documents in a better way. And we can see if DVBs are available here. They have asked about please provide geo-tagged photographs with date and caption for the each scheme or the event. Do not include programs conducted as part of university curriculum. So they are clearly mentioning here is there is a slight difference between 1.3.1 metric and 5.1.2. That is 1.3.1 speaks about cross-cutting issues where we will going to sensitize the students in relation to 4 topics, which is mentioned in the university curriculum. That only will be considered in criterion 1. It cannot be considered in criterion 5. Here the teacher's initiation should come up here. And the second one, if you don't have geo-tagged photo, then you can usually take the normal photo also. The information has to be mentioned like this. Date and captions for each photo must be there. Then only it can be considered as a proper document. So these are the DVBs expected in 5.1.2. So here the documents also I have mentioned. So if you provide any web links, that is also fair enough. And try to have a programs with some local hospitals. For this purpose, you can consider. You can bring any doctors or nutritionists to give awareness, especially to the woman or girl child, where they are most necessary to have a awareness on health and hygiene facilities. So that can be communicated. Even on the yoga instructor or physical fitness trainers. So those things, if you have in collaborations also, you can do some activities. So here where we can easily bifurcate. Few documents based on MOU can be considered in criteria 3, where you will show it as a collaboration. Those agencies will be shown in criterion 3, but the activities will be shown in criterion 5. Whatever the MOU and collaboration, that the related parties will be shown in criterion 3, but the activities will be shown in the 5.1.2. So we need to concentrate here to score maximum 10 out of 10 weightage by clicking the option all of the above, where we can easily concentrate all the categories in the institution itself. So when it comes to the next metric, which speaks about the 5.1.3, percentage of students benefited by the guidance for competitive examination and career counseling. So for this purpose also they have given 10 weightage, where most number of the students will be benefited in all the colleges, and they will be providing awareness on competitive examinations, awarenesses on government jobs available, or whatever the career development activities. Everything will be considered here. Even career counseling programs offered at the institution level can be considered here. The only observation from the past 2 years what we have made is job fair, mela, so those kind of activities cannot be considered here. If it is related to coaching activities, so those type of activities will be very much important for the students. So those type of activities need to be concentrated here. So they will ask here in two form about the data. The first data speaks about 5.1.3.1. That is number of students benefited by guidance for competitive examination and career counseling offered by the institution. Here first we need to provide the total number of students benefited, and the condition here is it should not cross the total admission on that particular year, respective years. And the second information speaks about the Excel sheet where you are going to mention the year in the first column, name of the activity, and number of students attended or participated. Even participated can be considered here. Number of students placed through campus placement if available, so that has to be provided, and related documents need to be provided. So regarding the data verification and validation process, many of the institutions will be asking in detail questions. That is, you can observe here, percentage of students benefited by the guidance for competitive examination and career counseling. Please provide the document indicating year-wise list of students attending these schemes signed by the competent authority. Here, signed by the competent authority means the principal. List of students attended these schemes. List of the students, to provide list, it must be, if it is less, it will be fair enough to get the documents properly. If you show all 1000 in each and every program, you cannot provide the attendance list of 1000 students for all the programs. So hence I request, divide and bifurcate among all the programs with the total strength of the institution. There we can easily concentrate to provide the evidences of attendance of participants. So it will be easy for us also to have the documents and to submit at the time of TVP as well. So these are the information about the criterion 5.1.3 metric. Here, one more point I would like to bring to your notice is when students benefited refers to student registered and attending the said programs. So whatever the programs you have mentioned, there they have to attend. So that there must be some documents as well. So these type of informations are most required. In the last part, it speaks about 5.1.4, where a grievance mechanism is there. The first one is we should form a committees which can be considered as mandatory committees, and what is the mechanism to address the issues. So these two informations has to be concentrated, where here also it will be allotted with 10 weightage and 5 options will be provided in the manner of MCQ. So where we have to select among these 4 or all the 4s we can select. If you have a transparent mechanism for timely redressal of the student grievances. So for I'll just give a break for the sentence here. Here they are asking about the student grievances. Grievances are nothing but the necessities or problems faced by the students in the academic year, which is also inclusive of, now we will continue in the metric, including sexual harassment and ragging cases. So here, the many of the institutions may feel that we don't have any cases and we'll submit none of the above like this. So in a better manner, we should understand it is speaking about whole institutional grievances, not only about sexual harassment or ragging cases. It is including that. That means if any water facility is not available, computers are very less, books are very less, proper timetable has been not provided, or examination dates have to be changed. These type of grievances can be considered here. The first part we need to concentrate on the implementation of guidelines of statutory and regulatory bodies. So here, as per the UGC norms, the mandatory committee like POSH, Prevention of Sexual Harassment Committee, should contain a senior and lady faculty member must be the coordinator, and if possible, one candidate or lady officer from the NGO, or even possible, if possible, a lady constable has to be considered in this committee. Then only it stands like a statutory committee. So this is the formation. And the second thing we need to concentrate here is to get any grievances apart from these two committees. So we can collect in two ways. One is through the WhatsApp or the email or in a physical manner. The physical documents will be collected at the institutional level. Even if you create some email ID or some contact number, if it is published in the website, so students can provide or can utilize this kind of facilities or committees where they will going to provide the grievances which are related to your complaints or committees. So that can be addressed in a nice manner where students will be given proper guidelines to submit the or to utilize the mechanism or online on offline as well. So and even the students should provided with the awareness on zero tolerance policies where we have to find equality among each and every students. And the last one is the timely redressal of the grievances through appropriate committees. For regarding any books purchased or softwares to be purchased or computers to be purchased, for that a purchase committee must be there. So those committee members has to concentrate on solving the grievance related to that. If physical facilities are not available, infrastructural facilities, then the CDC committee will going to handle those type of grievances which are related to any other disciplinary issues. Then the disciplinary committee that will take care about those issues. So completely about apart from internal assessment marks, everything will be considered in the criterion 5. Only internal examinations related issues will be addressed in criterion 2. So the documents here we should speak about minutes of the meeting of the student grievance committee as per the metric, and circular web links of committee reports justifying the objectives of the metric, and proof of construction of internal committees, grievance committees, and other committees as per the UGC norms. Here what happens once you form the committees, if you don't have an issue also in that particular year, the committee should meet twice a year minimum, at the beginning of the academic year, at the end of the academic year. How many grievances have been received, how many days it has been taken. If no grievances are received also, then the committee should prepare a report by stating that this academic year related to so and so topic, we have conducted awareness programs on so and so date where many number of students participated. Apart from this, the students find no grievances regarding these informations. Like this, you can prepare some report where it will indicate the committee is active. Instead of just on paper, we should do it in the physical format.
Our part of the problem
and how you can get started. Regarding students, where you are going to find the progression of the students on two bases. That is, one is education based and second one is related to entrance exams. This education based, you can consider two information. Then that is, one is from UG to PG, another one is PG to PhD. where UG to PG means few of the institutions will be considering bachelor degree to bachelor degree itself, like after completing BA or BCom, many of the institution mentioning about the progression, that is as they have joined to Bachelor of Education. When it comes to the equal degree, it cannot be considered as a progression. If they have gone for master degree, then only it can be considered. If you have PG program, then from PG to PhD, how many have been enrolled? So this type of information has to be collected properly. And the second one is about the placements. Here placements may happen outside the institution as well, but try to provide the training required or skills required for the students. And we can easily get the rapport with the alumni as well, where they will going to provide proper information about their placements. So that can be claimed here. The second one is about the entrance exams. For many students, government jobs, they will be seeking, and they are supposed to compete in the entrance exams. Even for some higher education as well, to enter into any PG program, they are supposed to write the CET Commons entrance test. So for this, we can create the awareness as well. So this is about the student progression. So let us know about the metric, that is 5.2.1, where we speak about the percentage of placement of outgoing students and students progressing to higher education during the last 5 years. In the last manual, it was two different questions. Higher education was asking separately and outgoing students were asking separately, which is about the placements. So in this manual, they have given 20 weightage. The first one is outgoing students placed or progressed to higher education during the last 5 years. Total number has to be mentioned. And how many outgoing students are there? Here, outgoing means final year students who have paid the examination fees of the final semester. Then only it can be considered. So if you have any dropouts in between, that can be ignored. If you have 100 students, only 98 students have paid the fees in the 6th sem, then the outgoing students must be counted as 98. So this is the first information. And the second information speaks in the Excel format, where you are supposed to mention the year, name of the student placed, enrolling into higher education, and contact details. And the third information about the program graduated from. And the fourth information, name of the employer with contact details. If you collect it in a proper way, here also we will get the marks, and it will be helpful for Criterion 1 also, where our students will be as an employee, their employer will provide the feedback on curriculum in the Criterion 4, where the metric speaks about 4.1.4.1. So there it will be easy if you collect the proper employer details. And the last one is pay package at appointment in rupees per annum. In per annum total amount, if your a student is drawing 20,000 per month, so put together for 1 year, it will be 2,40,000. That has to be mentioned over. And if it is related to higher education, name of the program that has to be recorded, which is applicable to the students. So this is what the information regarding this. Few DVVs will be asked. So let us know about the DVVs related to metric 5.2.1. That is, data is verified with the document submitted. HA is advised to verify the facts once again, and modifications may be reported. If you have provided the statistical details of the student, and if you find sufficient documents are not available, then the correct number has to be recorded. Or before submitting the DVV, if you find more number of students data with a proper document, then that also can be considered. At the time of SSR, many of the institution fails to have a good rapport with the students because of the usual works. After submitting the SSR, when the DBV arises, between that even 1 month, if the institution get the time, there they can collect more number of students data which is related to progression and placements. So even that can be considered. Many of the occasions it has been benefited the institution. In that manner, it will be helpful. So this is all about the metric 5.2.1, where it will be awarded with the 20 weightage. List of the students placed must be there, and uploading the supporting data for the students who have joined for higher education in the prescribed manner for all the assessment period from private or public sector. Anything can be considered here. Now let us move on to the second question in the key indicator, that is 5.2.2, percentage of students qualifying in state national elections during the last 5 years. Here JAM, CLAT, GATE, GMAT, CAT, GRE, TOEFL, or if your students are not with respect to these exams, at least any civil services or even for state government examinations can be considered here. So these type of data we need to collect. So where students details about the percentage of students qualifying in state or state government examination also can be considered here. Even for a police constable, if a student write the examination, that can be considered here. So that will be helpful for the institution, where we need to concentrate on having a good rapport or communication, regular touch with the alumni. It will be helpful for us to get the good weightage here, which have been allotted with the 10 weightage, where number of students qualifying in the state, national and international level examination count will be provided first. In the second information, we need to provide student appearing in state and national, international level examination. If you are 10 students appearing, if you have the hall tickets, then you can mention 10 students in the second. If one student got eligibility or qualified, that need to be provided in the first question. Not the complete strength of the institution will be considered here. Will only about the participation, who have taken the exam, among them how much have been qualified. On that basis the marks will be provided. If it is less also, need not to be worried. Proper documentation is required, then we can easily score a good weightage here. In the Excel format, we need to provide the serial number, year, registration number and roll number for the exam, name of the student selected, qualified, and exam details which have to be identified. So any other central government schemes, those can be mentioned. For the DVV purpose, what they will going to concentrate here is certificates of all the students qualified must be submitted. So if you have provided 8 students have participated, 2 of them have qualified, those 2 certificates has to be collected properly. For that only the marks will be allotted. And for 8 students, if you can collect the hall ticket also, that's more than enough. So if they have attended the exam or not, if they have provided the proper data on providing the hall ticket and after qualification, the certificates or result sheets from the competent authority, that can be considered as a document for 5.2. So the next key indicator speaks about the students' participation and activities. It speaks on awards or medals for the students' outstanding performance in the sports and cultural activities at various level like university, state, national and international level. Here, award to a team can be or only it should be considered as one. That means if a kabaddi team wins the gold medal, according to the team numbers, it will be 7 plus 2 like 9 gold medals. But here we need to consider only one gold medal. We should mention it as only one. So team awards will be counted as only one. Then about the details, number of awards and medals has to be mentioned in a statistical manner according to the assessment years. The second one is about the details in Excel sheet where you are supposed to mention the first column is about year, name of the award or medal. If it is for 100 meters, so that has to be mentioned. If it is for any javelin throw or anything, that has to be mentioned here, singing like that. Team or individual, that has to be mentioned. If it is team, all the students' name will be written, but it will be counted only one for the outer column. The fourth column speaks about university, state and national or international level. The level of participation has to be entered here. Whether it is related to sports or culture, that has to be mentioned in the fifth column. In the last column, names of the students must be mentioned. And the one more suggestion I would like to give here is, if only one student has got the 2 medals, you can mention, need not to be worried about not to leave any data. But as per the NAAC rules, if person A won in 2 events, then also it will be counted as only one. So that is the as per the DBV, we are finding the informations related to this metric, that is 5.3.1. Please endorse the documents with the signature of competent authority and submit again. So here sports achievements have been provided, and that has been asked once again. Why they will ask once again about the document? If you have taken only normal Xerox, sometimes the signatures will not be available in a proper way, or it cannot be like this. If dates are not matching, dates are not mentioned, like that, if you have the documents, it will not be considered. If you have a proper certificate by mentioning the student name, institutional name, and signature of all the authorities for that certificate, so that has to be scanned. So, but before providing any original certificates to the students, have a scan copy of that. It will be helpful for the institution to put into the website in the color format. And it will be easy to provide the link as well if you have the proper documents. So that's why the physical education director and the cultural committee has to concentrate on these 2 informations before selecting the students or training the students, and after providing the certificates, we need to have a proper original documents with us. A scanned copy must be there. So the next one is it's allotted with 25 weightage, where the next metric is allotted also with the 25 weightage. For this metric, the institutions are failing to score more here also. The question speaks about average number of sports and cultural programs. Average number of sports and cultural programs in which students of the institution participated, whether it is organized by us or by others. Our students participated. Here, for participation also, we cannot just increase the numbers with reference to the total admission. The thing is, if you conduct 3 programs on a particular day, then it will be counted as only one program. Suppose if you conduct cricket, volleyball, and solo dance on 27th February, according to you, it might be 3 different programs. 2 sports program, 1 is cultural program, but still it will be counted as only one. For that purpose only, the first column speaks in the Excel format is about date of event or date of activity, date, month and year we need to provide. But the thing is, the date must be different from one event to another event. That means NAAC expects us to do the sports and cultural activities or to conduct those activities throughout the year. It should be spreaded throughout the academic year. Maybe difficult in a practical manner where the institutions have a practice of conducting a sports meet in a week or in a 3 days. If you conduct all the sports activities in 3 days, it will be counted by the NAAC only 3 activities. If you have conducted n number of activities also, it will be counted on the basis of date. So for that purpose, institutions should have a proper reports, photographs and enrollment list. If you have for that, brochures, if it is available, signed by the competent authority, the list of the students can be prepared. So the competitions organized by the institutions without the participation of their own students will not be considered as well. If you have conducted the program for only outsiders, then it cannot be considered. If 100 students from outside, 10 students from your institution, then it can be considered. If 0 students from our institution itself, then it cannot be considered as a program for our institution. So this is the last information I would like to provide on 5.3.2. If a large data is available, 3,000 students, 2,000 students are there, particular certificates may be asked by the DVV. In the process of DVV, they have asked about the copy of circular, brochure indicating such kind of activities. Sometimes they have mentioned a few names, Bharat, RS, their certificate in Kabaddi that you need to upload. So we should be able to provide the documents related to particular student as well. Then only we can score more here. To get good number of CGPA, we need to concentrate on proper documentation along with diversification of opportunity among all the students. If you are providing opportunity for a minimum number or selected number of students, then also it will not be yield to the institution. So we need to concentrate on each and every. The last key indicator where it will be speaking about the alumni engagement, which is been allotted with the 10 weightage, and it's a QLM. Usually for QLMs, we all know that there will not be any DVV. But here, the thing is, what we are supposed to write in the 500 words, that is most important. Many institutions are writing the QLMs without having a proper knowledge on this. When you have registered alumni association, start with the association details, when it has been started, how it has been formed, and who are the participants, who are the people, office bearers. So that has to be mentioned. When it comes to the case of if you don't have a registered alumni association, the rest of the information need to be highlighted first, and in the final we should mention in one paragraph or in one line, such as that there is no registered alumni association. If you have registered alumni association, regular meetings has to be conducted, and you should encourage the alumni part in that process as well. You should have a good rapport, and if you have registered alumni association, then only you are authorized. You have the right to collect the money. Otherwise, if you are collecting the money without having a registered alumni association, that cannot be shown in the NAAC. It should not be shown. In a legal aspect, if you think, if you don't have a registered alumni association, then also if you are collecting a compulsory amount among all the students, that is a wrong process we are following. That should not happen in any institution. If you have a registered alumni association, then they can pay the membership fees. Unless until if you have a registered association, you cannot authorize to collect the membership fees. But if you have already done, I am not going to comment on that. If want to start now, so instead of taking money from them, what you can do? You can get the services from them, like providing how to attend an interview, how to use the systems, how to prepare the reports. These type of things can be guided from the alumni to the present students, and you can have a invitation for that acceptance letter, geotagged photos, reports of the events can be counted. Even for coaching for competitive exams, anybody who have cleared, that can be considered. At the last, if you are getting any financial benefits from them, that need to be recorded in a proper way. So if one class final year BCom students have provided some photos or water filter or like some tables, some computers, some books, anything in kind, if they are providing, that need to be taken care by the institution by providing the thanking letter to them. If you have collected 10,000 worth of drinking water facility from the alumni, you can thank them by stating the specified amount as well. Then only we can easily convince the committee which will visit the institution at the time of peer team visit. So in front of them, the proper documents. While collecting the in-kind, any materials also, take the geotagged photos along with the alumni and students. That will also be helpful as a document for us. So these are the documents has to be maintained. When it comes to the case of registered association, we should also maintain separate bank accounts where the head of the institution will be the authorized one party, and the second party must be from the registered alumni association. Before drawing a single rupee, both the parties must be signed on the check. Bank statements must be there. If at all not available, then we should not show that collecting the money. All those information should be ignored as per the NAAC. We cannot show and we cannot do. If we have already done and collected money, try to utilize it for the benefit of the students at the time of alumni meeting for refreshment. All those facilities you can utilize and make it over useful for the students itself. But my suggestion is kindly do not collect any money without having registered alumni association. So these are the major informations and objections we have came across from the NAAC peer team at the time of visits regarding to the alumni association. And most of the information what we write according to this QLM will also be questioned with the alumni at the time of peer team visit, where they will going to have a 3 meetings with the present students separately, with the alumni separately, and with the parents also on the peer team visit dates. There is a chance, there might be a chance to ask the alumni, have you provided these kind of materials? Will they ask any money? So these kind of questions may be asked. So better we should avoid collecting the money without having a proper procedures. If you collect the money, give it to the students itself and get in kind some benefit to the institution where it will be recorded in a proper way. So these type of informations are very much necessary regarding the Criterion 5. So it is all about the support system and grievance mechanism what we handle. So I have provided as much of as possible practical informations regarding to the criteria 5. So if you have any doubts and clarifications regarding this metrics and key indicators regarding the criterion 5, now we can have an open house session.
Thank you, sir. I sincerely appreciate your efforts in explaining each metric with the relevant documentation and examples. We have one question in the chat box, sir, from Shubha R. If retired teachers from a group and providing scholarship by maintaining separate accounts to students means which category it will come? Will it come under institutional or philanthropist?
So for that purpose also is the institution, if it has a policy document, then only it can be considered. If they don't have any policy, just for their goodness they have given for their emotions attached to the institution, if they have provided, that cannot be that will not be considered at the time of DVV. If you have proper policy, then it can be considered, where some amount will be collected from the retired faculty members. That can be considered only if you have a proper policy document as an institutional scholarship as
well. Hello. May I ask
yes,
a question?
Yes, sir.
Dr. Lipisan here. Thank you. It was simple and easy to understand. I have a question with regard to metric 5.4.2. It's about contribution from alumni, financial contribution from alumni.
Okay.
My question is, the contribution benchmark is rupees. Is this for the entire 5 year, or each we have to raise 5 lakhs through alumni association?
Okay, sir.
The
first, as of technical issues, what I have heard, I will take it in a 2 form. One is the first one is in key indicator 5.4. There were earlier 5.4.1 and 5.4.2. 2 questions were there. Now only 1 question is there. That too, it is about the QLM. So which will be verified at the time of peer visit only. So all the 5 years complete in kind or in cash, whatever the amounts are contributed from the alumni can be considered here. But the thing is, in 500 words, you should explain how well it has been utilized. Instead of mentioning the amount, you can mention about the quality of beneficiaries. That can be written in 500 words. At the time of visit, if they required any purchase bill documents, you can show. If you don't have purchase bill, you can mention the thanking letters as well. So this is what I can
my question is, in terms of money, is there any benchmark? We have to have minimum 5 lakhs or something like that?
Nothing, sir. From 1 rupee to 1 crore, no limit. You can collect any in kind at their capacity level, they can provide.
That was my doubt, sir. Thank you for clarifying.
Previously,
thank you so much.
marks would have been allotted on that basis till to 50,000 to 1 lakh like this. Now they have removed that also. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Dear participants, if you have any queries, you can post them in the chat box, or you can even unmute and talk.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, a very excellent session. Thank you so much, sir. So I have one query. Suppose if alumni raises the money through some charity show or something, right? So an X amount if they are raising, out of which they are going to spend also because they are conducting some fundraising event. So can we show that entire amount raised as a alumni contribution, or the net amount should be shown as an alumni contribution?
As of my knowledge, I feel they cannot show that amount itself, because if they personally contribute, it can be considered in Criterion 5 as an alumni contribution. If they have if they have collected some money to conduct any events, then it can be shown in collaboration activities in Criterion 3, where we will going to, if the event is related to extension activities, there you can utilize. But in Criterion 5, as a contribution, it cannot be shown.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Fine, sir. Fine, sir. Thank you. Anybody else can have the...
Sir,
Yes, madam.
I have a clarification
Yes, madam.
Regarding 5.1. Regarding 5.1, you said the financial support percentage of students benefited, and if you have set up scholarship, how many are benefited from the scholarship you said? I have one doubt. She said no fee concession can be included here. Sometimes if students are poor, 20,000 they have to pay, 10,000 we ask them to pay, 10,000 is waived off. That cannot be shown as a financial assistance, sir.
It cannot be shown, ma'am. Here we can understand in a simple manner. For anything, if we have a proper document, then we can show. To reduce the fees, we will not be having any documents. If you collect the fees and if you pay back them, then we will be having a document related to that. Like how in a commerce teacher cannot record the trade discount, only cash discount will be recorded. Like that, this free ships provided can be counted if complete waive off of the fees has been done to the students, and if you have the proper policy for that also, then it can be shown. Just a portion of the fees waived off cannot be considered as a facility provided with related to finance.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Sir, sir, can I come in, sir, again?
Yes, madam. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
so same situation what madam had asked. So what we did at our institution and which was allowed, this fee reduction we were not showing as free reduction, but our management used to issue scholarship letters. And management used to issue checks to the institute to that amount. And it was considered, sir.
Yes, sir. If you have a transaction, then it can be considered. A policy must be there, a check must be there, something you need to collect the amount, then you should return it back.
Yes, exactly.
Then it will be recorded in the documents itself. And then you can show, sir. Excellent suggestion that can be considered by...
So instead of reducing fees, what we do is management issues a letter in the name of certificate and sends the check to the institute, because there is a possibility that management may have many institutes. So the check comes from the management and it is considered, sir. Yeah.
Yes. If you have the proper proof, then only we can show.
Yeah. In our accreditation, it was considered, sir. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
So one more question was raised against the 5.1.2. Once again, if you want to know about the informations, it is related to the providing the skills. The skills can be provided within 10 minutes or 1 hour or within a day. Providing how many attempts have been done. So that will be counted as a program with related to soft skill till to the computing skills related to how to use the computers. Anything and everything, how to use the Excel sheet can be a program. It is also a skill. So these type of initiations, whether it is taken by the institution, how many times, on what on the areas covered. So this will be asked. If you are doing this type of activities, get a photo and prepare a report where how many students participated, person, myself as a resource person, then also from the department initiatives, you can show it like that, and you will be having a document with the photo. Then it can be considered as a program. Try to collect the attendance as well from the students whenever you conduct any program. So it will be easy for us to record the things.
Thank you, sir. I don't find any other queries in the chat box.
Yes, yes.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, Pratima ma'am, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I have one question, sir.
Yes,
so when we are uploading the cultural programs activities, is there any format to upload, sir? we have to follow certain formats?
Thank you, ma'am, for asking the question. With related to Pratima ma'am's question, even Vimal have asked the question related to this. That is, what is the circular? So before conducting any programs at the college level, we need to provide the information to the students through the circular or memo only. So that will be the first document. When you conduct any participation or this, participant has to enroll first with a particular committee. That enrollment list must be there. If you are conducting a cultural program, how many participants are enrolled? That list has to be there. After conducting the event, what is the outcome? So whoever got the first and second and third prize, so that has to be recorded with the certificates. So with 1 or 2 photos, you can prepare the reports as well. Put together, it will be called as a document for that event. Circular, reports, photos, and if possible, attendance, or you can have a certificates as well. Winner's certificate that can be considered as a document for cultural program. Even the same thing will apply for other sports activities as well. Maulik Rathod sir was asking about circular. Is it an info letter or notice board with the authority sign? It can be considered, sir. It is considered as a circular.
Sir, for 5.2.1.1, that is regarding student progression, sir.
Yes, madam.
There, the first one was template was students placed or progressed or both. So for the count, suppose we understood, sir, for we have to write the number of students placed as well as progressed. If a student has got a placement as well as a seat in a higher education, then you count that as +2, or how does it go, sir?
In practical, it cannot be considered, ma'am, because a student cannot go for both job and education. It cannot be counted, or it is not possible. If I join for MCom, I will be a higher education student. If I join for any job, I will be counted in placements.
And one more also, we were having doubts, sir, like state level, national level exams. Suppose we have undergraduate and postgraduate programs. So one of our UG students, after they complete, when they're doing their post graduation somewhere else, but they get qualified in NET. So since it comes in the same assessment year, but that 5 years assessment, do we count that student, or she is an alumni?
Beautiful question. Many of the institutions will be having this also, and many of the institutions have tried to provide this information to the NAAC, and NAAC have been rejected. That means if you are giving only UG programs, then according to that level, what is the progression will be considered. If after completion of PG program, if they have cleared any NET, KSET like this, that cannot be considered. Where the minimum qualification required for that certificate was PG, which was not organized by us, or which was not provided by us, cannot be considered.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, any queries, anything else can be addressed here. Yes, I feel everybody have been provided with the proper informations which was required as per the NAAC.
Definitely, sir. I think it is high time for us. We shall conclude the session.
Yes, Vimal have been asking one more question, which is related to if one student goes up to PG, that can be considered as a progression. If you are offering UG program and students have been going for education, for higher education, that is PG in other institution, that can be considered. Yes, madam. I feel these are the questions. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I would like to give the concluding remarks. This resourceful session by Professor Jagadisha sir has given us immense insights about the criteria. I am sure all the participants had an enriching session. Thank you very much, sir. It is my pleasure to thank everyone on behalf of all the participants. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, your experience with us, sir. And it's my pleasure to thank all the participants of today's session on behalf of our college. I take this opportunity to thank our esteemed resource person, our principal, Dr. Sister Prema, IQAC coordinator and vice principal, Mrs. Mallika ma'am, Rajesh sir, academic coordinator, and all our technical staffs who are supporting us to organize this event. Thank you very much. I thank principals, deans, academicians, faculty members from various colleges across the nation who have joined us and were instrumental in successful completion of today's session. Thank you very much. Dear participants, feedback link will be shared in the chat box. Kindly fill the feedback form. Tomorrow we will be having the discussion on criteria 6 and 7 exactly at 2 p.m. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jagdish sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you everyone for making it as an interactive session as well. Thank you, one and all.
Dear participants, kindly fill the feedback form which is shared in the chat box. आप करोगे कोई खाना आपको अच्छे से